guys, this is Mrs. Shannon here with another book talk for you. It is still Native American Heritage Month, and our book for this week is called Sing Down the Moon by Scott Odell. So I hope you enjoy this review, and thanks for tuning in. So for today's book review, I will be talking about Scott Odell's Sing Down the Moon. This is not a new book. It's actually fairly old, but it's one of those old but great books. It was actually published in 1970, making it around 50 years old. It is a story that was an award winner. It was a nominee for the Newbery Award, which is the highest award that a children's literature book can receive in the United States. So it was not the champion of that award, but it was a nominee, which is a great honor. So this is a book that certainly stands the test of time. This book follows the life of Bright Morning, a young Navajo woman, as she experiences a lot of upheavals in her Navajo village. So at the beginning of the book, Bright Morning is really excited. Spring is upon her, and it's the first time that her mother has given her responsibility to watch over a flock of sheep. So her mother is a shepherdess, I guess you would say, and Bright Morning has been waiting for her chance to take care of her own flock of sheep. So this is the first spring that she's been watching over her mother's flock of sheep, and she also has some of her own sheep. So she's really excited about that. She's also looking forward to the future. There is a boy in her village named Tall Boy that she is planning to marry. And so she's thinking about all of the opportunities to build a family and to start her own flock and to really become an adult in her community. Unfortunately, her dreams don't really get to take flight like they should because of the actions of white settlers. So her community is invaded by white men, settlers from other places that have come to take over their land. And basically they, through violence, force her village and her tribe to move. They have to begin what is called the Long Walk. So you may have heard of the Trail of Tears. This is very similar to that. So basically what's happened is that white settlers have invaded the land and have told everyone that's already living there peacefully that they have to leave. And they force them to leave by burning their villages, burning their crops, basically taking everything away from them, and then kind of driving them along to this reservation that the U.S. government has prepared for them. A little bit about the Navajo Indians. They live sort of in the New Mexico kind of area of the United States. So beautiful, lush valleys and lots of warm weather. So she was planting things like peach trees and corn and different kinds of beans. And they're sort of driven across for many, many miles, 300 miles in fact, and forced onto this very gray, drab little chunk of land that is not enough land for them. It's not good soil. They have very limited foods. And sadly, a lot of the Native American people died along the way on these long marches. And as Bright Morning finds out, it's not just her village that is being forced into these long marches and forced onto these reservations, but it's Native people all over the country. So she begins to run into other tribes on her way and kind of see this is happening to everyone. So it's basically a story of survival. She wants to find a way to still follow her path and find her dreams, and she wants to make it back home to her village. So it's a story of survival in the face of adversity, and it is also a story of white supremacy. It's a story of terrorism. So basically the white settlers, they came in and they terrorized and they killed a community. So I know a lot of you like to study the Holocaust, and Holocaust literature is something that you're really interested in the library. This is a very similar topic to that. it's a very similar event. So you can compare it to that kind of experience. So it's a very eye-opening book. It was a short read for me. It didn't take me very long to read. It's just over 120 pages or so, 150 pages. So it's a short read. It's written in a very straightforward yet descriptive way. So it's not too difficult to read. So if you want an introduction into that topic, it's a really good introduction. I really, really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And the only reason I gave it 4 out of 5 stars and not 5 out of 5 stars is because I would have liked for it to go on almost a little bit longer. I felt like I would have liked to know what happened even more after the story was done. So maybe if it would have been a little bit longer and given me a little bit more at the end, I would have given it that 5 out of 5 stars. I definitely felt that it was a really good description of what it might be like to experience that long walk or that Trail of Tears type of experience. And if you enjoy books about Holocaust literature, you would probably really enjoy this topic as well. And this is our own American history. So I do think it's really important for all Americans to enlighten themselves about this period of time that we sometimes don't spend a lot of time talking about in school. So I would really recommend that you take a look at this book. And this book is available through curbside pickup or book bus delivery in physical form. We do not currently have it as an ebook or an audiobook. So I hope you enjoyed this book review, and I'll be back next week with another one. Thanks, guys.